Out of the blue, they just reduced the loan limit for the metropolitan area without any prior notice, and it will apply to loan applications starting from December 2nd.
It's next month.
It says it's a matter of national survival. The issue of survival about the country.
Hello, nice to meet you. I'm Dr. Kim from Richgo.
Hello, I'm Kim Ki-hyun from Richgo.
It was on the 6th. They announced a tailored management plan for the stepping stone loans. In a way, they announced that they would limit the loan amount without any prior notice. Let's discuss what this content entails and what kind of impact it might have.
They suddenly reduced the loan limit for the metropolitan area without any prior notice.
It is sudden.
That's right. So, the loan is expected to be reduced to a maximum of 55 million won. For more information, visit the Ministry of Land and Transport. I'll explain using this file about the implementation of the tailored management plan. Here, it says that they have made tailored improvements considering the housing market situation, actual demand, and stable management of the fund. It's about limiting loans for apartments in Metro. Next, we will continue to support low-income households with childbirth, and it will apply to loan applications starting from December 2nd. It's next month. Next month isn't far away. And they will grant a grace period for existing lottery winners until the first half of 2025. This is what we're discussing. What is the main content? Yes. Here, as you can see, it's called the loan-to-value ratio, or LTV. We will fundamentally limit new loans that deviate from the purpose of introducing regulations, such as loans that could jeopardize the soundness of the fund, loans with deferred collateral conditions for unregistered apartment mortgages, and exemptions. So, if you're buying a 500 million won apartment located in the area with Density Control Authority in Gyeonggi Province, currently the LTV is up to 70%, and there are no partial exemptions. Of course, you will need to enroll in a separate guarantee. So since there's no partial exemption, you get the full 70%. If you multiply 500 million by 70%, you get 350 million. But what do we take out from here? We take the partial exemption. The partial exemption is currently 4.8 million. So the loan is 350 million, 2 million won. So the loans are going to decrease like this. To explain again, this applies only to apartments located in the metropolitan area, and it does not apply to areas outside the metropolitan area or non-apartment properties. Only apartments, not non-apartments. Next, there are special loans for newborns, and dedicated loans to support victims of rental fraud will not be subject to this either. They are excluding special loans for newborns. Next, first-time homebuyer program. First-time homebuyers, you provided many loans, right? For new buyers, LTV is 80% with support, but partial exemption required, restrictions apply. Non-metro, non-apartment, newborn loans are exceptions. And the restrictions on deferred collateral will still be applied. So areas outside the metropolitan area, non-apartment properties, and special loans for newborns are considered exceptions. I will not take action on this. I will not apply that. This is it. What else is excluded? So the loans are being reduced, right? So that means the burden is relatively increasing, right? So if a household with an annual income of 40 million won or less buys a low-cost housing unit priced under 300 million won, they will also be exempt from this. So if your annual income is up to 40 million won and you're buying a low-cost housing unit priced under 300 million won, then the partial exemption won't apply. They're saying that for an LTV of 70%, or if it's the first time, they'll keep it at 80%. Next, they will provide a sufficient grace period and transitional regulations for the implementation timing. So, the announcement came out suddenly and unexpectedly, but they're not implementing it right away. Grace period starts, loan limits deck 2. So, it will be implemented starting in December. And it will apply from the new loan applications on December 2nd.
So after December 2nd, those who are scheduled to move in will face restrictions on these loan applications.
So, as you can see here, it was mentioned that existing lottery winners will have a grace period until the first half of 2025. So, those who have won the existing lottery will have a grace period until the first half of 2025. So, it's right here. In the case of new construction sales complexes, the announcement for recruiting residents is clearly stated. The announcement for recruiting residents will be made before the implementation of the system, meaning it will be announced by December 1st for those projects It's a project. What's that mean? So, if the move-in period starts by June 30th, 2025, then it will also be possible to have a delayed collateral for the fund loan. So, it's a bit sudden, like, what do I do if I just did this and now I can't get the loan? This could happen, but at least they've set it up so that it won't be possible. So, next, I mentioned earlier that the newborn loan was excluded, and now we will also implement the income relaxation conditions. So, the newborn loan has a lot of benefits, because the baby is still very small, right? So, they will exclude this. So, they're removing the anti-communism system and the income requirements are getting even better. Couples can earn up to 200 million won for the newborn loan. Income rules ease for dual earners. Now, even if the combined income of the couple is up to 200 million won, they can still qualify for the newborn special loan. So, considering the purpose of eliminating the marriage penalty, they plan to relax the income requirements, but only for households where both partners have income.
So that means both partners need to be earning money, right?
That's right. That's right. I'll only do it if this is the case. And the specific loan conditions, such as interest rates, will be announced later. There's still some time left. And, as I mentioned earlier, when it comes to buying existing apartments or moving into newly built homes, starting from new loan applications, after December 2nd, the anti-communism system will be applied, which means the limits will be reduced. However, for those who have already signed contracts for existing homes and for the protection of the trust of successful applicants, we will provide a sufficient grace period and apply transitional regulations. So, this is what I mentioned earlier. This is a more detailed explanation of that. When it comes to existing homes, we're talking about houses that have already been registered. When it comes to existing homes, if you're going to buy one, you need to have signed the sales contract before December 2 and apply for the loan by that date. So, that means you can get a larger loan without the anti-communism system. But here's the thing. What I mean is, they only gave us a month. But for example, I might have signed the contract, but there could be an existing tenant, and this tenant might need to stay for a few more months. Please give me some time. This can happen, right? So, there might be cases where there are existing rental contracts, making it difficult to move in immediately, right? In this case, the balance payment date is... This applies only until the first half of 2025, meaning the balance payment date is June 30th, 2025. So that means you can get a loan without the anti-communism system applied. So what I'm saying is, I signed the contract before December 1st. So when do you have to sign the real estate contract and move in by the end of June next year? That's right, by the end of June next year. So the balance payment is usually made when you're moving in. So if the contract is made under these conditions by that time, they will give you a larger loan without the anti-communism system. Regarding new housing sales, the balance loan is only for projects announced before December 2nd. What applies? The balance loan deduction. Calculate the loan based on your situation. Some have financial plans, and this sudden announcement could be burdensome. But what applies?
They said they will apply the deduction. So you need to be careful not to get confused. It's quite complicated. So you should calculate the loan based on your individual situation. For those who are planning to move into newly built apartments, there are people who have financial plans in place, and this sudden announcement could indeed be a burden for them.
It could be a burden, and because of this, those who have set their loans tightly might need to hurry and finalize their contracts.
Anyway, this time, the special loan for newborns was not applied. Is there a reason why it wasn't applied?
That's right. So, why are they being so strict with everything, but they're not applying the special loan for newborns right now?
The issue of low birth rates.
But what does it say here? It says it's a matter of national survival. It's a matter of national survival. This is literally a matter of whether the country survives or not. So, literally, this is something they are doing as a special exception. And what does it say here? What are the basic conditions for the special loan for newborns? There are conditions for childbirth. Childbirth, you have to give birth, right? Baby, right? Next, the housing price and asset requirements will also be applied. So even if they increase the income requirement from 130 million to 200 million won, it won't create a significant burden on managing household debt safety. That's what we're looking at now. So if you look here, the demand loans this year Out of the 46.8 trillion won, the special loan for newborns was about 7.75 trillion won. It was only about 16%. And if we ease the income criteria, the demand is around 2 trillion won. That's how they're looking at it, thinking it will become a reality.
Also, in this content, there is information about the restrictions on collateral values. I mentioned it a little earlier. Balance loan. Yes, balance loan. Let's talk a bit about this burden.
That's right. So, for now, apartments where the recruitment announcement is made by December 1st of this year and the move-in announcement starts by June 30th of next year are fine. But if it's not that, if it doesn't work now, what are we supposed to do right now?
Anyway, the funds are limited and we made plans according to that.
So if you look here,